When I started this YouTube channel, I never intended for it to become a vlog of my cycling escapades, because I don't think I'm that interesting of a cyclist to follow. What I was intending to do was show anyone who wanted to watch, be it 1 or 100 people, how brilliant North Wales is to cycle in. And if I can show people who didn't know that before, then I feel like I'm achieving something. The last few weeks, I don't think I've been successfully doing that, so this week, I am going to show you a great climb in North Wales, but I'm also going to show you the great stuff I do in between getting to that climb and just enjoying my ride. Good morning. It's not bad at all, this, is it? Here's my bicycle. There's Flint Castle behind me. There's the Wirral. You can probably see my house somewhere across the river. I knew this was here, but I've never been down to it, and it's only, I don't know how far from my house. Not far at all. Less than 30k, less than 20 miles. How amazing is that? 13th century castle in Flint, and otherwise unremarkable would be kind. Unpleasant would be unkind, but you get the idea that it's not a place worth visiting otherwise. I don't know what I'm going to do on my ride today. I've got several hills I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to film and what I'm not. Look at that dog. Yeah. So I just thought I'd film an intro from this lovely castle. Lovely view back over the river to home. And yeah, I'll go from there. If you're getting bored of the hill climb videos, I'm sorry. There's not much more for me to film at the moment, but I'll try something soon, I promise. I really need to stop faffing and get on, but I've come down right to the riverfront just because I want to show you the juxtaposition of what I cycled through to the castle. Beautiful, right? Here's the river, there's the Wirral, beautiful castle, there's Flint. It's just so unexpected coming to the castle around here. It's awesome. Right, I'm really going to go and climb some hills now. The first climb today starts literally 300 meters from where last week's climb did. You can see that it's almost 280 meters of elevation gain. And I won't show you all of it because a lot of it looks kind of similar, but it's just a parallel road. And it's the same principle that I want to work on, not just steep out the saddle grindy hills. I want to work on continuous power down on these hills with false flats and descents for a little while. I realised that this was a really nice option to have another go at that that's not such a sketchy descent as last week. So out I came, no real goal in mind other than get to the top of this hill as fast as possible and keep the power rolling over these false flats and even the descent. I sort of wish I'd done this as the full feature climb like I did last week, because as you can see in this rear view footage, the view's much more expansive behind me, down to the river. The road is nicer. There's less chance for me to do stupid things like like slip my chain or whatever. And you know what? At the moment, I'll enjoy it while it lasts, but I'm feeling pretty good. I can sit and do these climbs and just sort of churn out pretty high power for me. Not remarkable power for anyone else, but the amount of time you'll see my power meter on my stats at 350 and above in this climb is enough to make me really content, actually. And the climb itself does a good job of flattering me with the illusion of speed. I think it looks much faster. So the climb starts with a relatively steep section through those houses, and it's called Neston View, that row of terraces, Neston being the town on the Wirral you can see. And then you come to this, what I would call false flat, high hedge kind of section. And I've cut lots of this out because, frankly, it's tedious viewing. It all looks like a generic farm lane. It's kind of 1 to 5% variable. And as we were rolling over this, as always, my target was just sustain threshold. Even though this climb is going to be significantly shorter than what I should be able to sustain threshold for, I want to save power for the steep pitches, but still roll enough power up and over. So every so often, I've cut in my rear view. Just gives you guys a bit of a benchmark of how much I'm climbing, I think, considering I started at the river, and you can kind of see me get higher and higher. Here's the descent that's just over halfway through this, and I, again, made sure I got up to speed, but I didn't bother worrying about pedaling down it. The point is to get fast quickly, and then almost enjoy the recovery, I think, and I think that's how I would tackle climbs like this in future. Roll over until it's negative, speed up, enjoy a touch of recovery on the descent, and then hit the climb out of the dip quite hard. So that's what I tried here.
In the mud at Flint.
You may have heard that my foot came out of its cleat, or the cleat came out of the pedal, sorry, and that's because I bunged them up with mud walking around the marshy river. Unfortunately, like last week, you have to cross a main road. It's the same main road, obviously. This climb is much more straightforward. There's not like 10 left and right turns. There's only 2 or 3, but still, it's a bit of a faff. And now we're rolling over, well, we've gone under the A55 and up and over into Pentra Hulkin now, and it's sort of a sting in the tail that this ends much sharper than the whole middle section. Gets pretty steep for quite a while. Have to really mentally focus to keep the power churning out. And it's kind of a battle. When you start focusing on directions, I find you focus less on other stuff. There's only so much mental energy you can expend on keeping yourself pushing hard, and also thinking, where am I going? And also thinking, how long's left, and all that kind of thing. But as I took this left turn here, that was the final turn that I needed to take. And actually, I don't think I've ever cycled this bit, even though it's a road between 2 places that I know incredibly well. I don't think I've ever cycled it, but I just knew that I had to go all out now. The top was not too far away, so I really needed to focus on just keeping that power ticking over and really, really pushing myself to the end. What I was delighted with in this, and sorry if it's a spoiler because I've not even got to the cattle grid yet, but in 100 or 200 meters, I thought, I know the top is soon. Last week I said I'm not someone who ever has anything left in the tank for a strong finish. But who says I'm not? Let's go for a strong finish. I don't think I ever quite hit 500 watts, but I'm consistently doing kind of 450 to 500, so I'm doing like 7 to 8 watts per kilo. Just to really get myself as fast a finish as I can, see the line, visualize that this is a race, imagine that I need to push on. And to be honest with you, I don't think I'd have been able to do this 2 months ago. I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's the sort of Zwift racing I've been doing that's helped me with this power. Maybe it's partly mentality, but I'm quite happy with how I managed to do up here. I did want the rear view camera to have more pretty views to show you, but they didn't really, unfortunately. But third place overall with an average of 342 watts for that duration. You can see that there's a gap in the middle of my power output, as one might expect, but I'm pretty happy with it. Nice views now I've turned around, and you can see in my comparison with the 2 guys ahead of me that they just battered me.
I'm fully knackered after that. That was hard. I hope I've done okay. I think I've done okay. I think I was happy with my power. A couple of little wobbles, like mentality power wise, not physically. One moment that my foot came out the cleat, that was because I had slipped on all that mud in Flint. Idiot. But yeah, all in all, happy. Time to get on. Can you see down there? You can see views down to Snowdonia, I think. I'm not super comfortable having this out of its case. It's quite fiddly. Oh, and I'm pedalling very slowly.
In my head, I'd intended to do 3 hill efforts today, and this was going to be one of them. I fully believed I was going to go full gas up this. You can call it the easy side of Moyle Arthur. I choose to call it the boring side of Moyle Arthur. It's a beautiful road to cycle, but it's a very boring hill to cycle up, if that makes sense. It's almost all 1% and 2% with some pitches. I really thought I was going to go all out, and I just didn't. I couldn't be bothered. I thought, sod it. What's the point of riding my bike if it's just going to be misery? I'm going to enjoy it instead. So I went quite fast, but I didn't go hell for leather. And here's some footage of the descent, which I've probably shown you many times as well, down to the Vale of Clwyd for Nick's YouTube bingo. And here I am, just coming through a village called Bodfari. I almost never go this way, and I forgot how sort of picturesque the village is, sitting on the hill with this lovely pub and the church and the little village square. It is a really pretty little place, considering it's not that rural. It's just off the A55, but I did enjoy it. And now we're approaching the main climb I'm going to feature today, which is called Sodom. There is a climb at the top, a farm at the top called Sodom Covert. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I don't know what they were up to. I don't know if it's a biblical reference. There's a few villages around this area that have biblical sounding names, like Babel as well, and a few others. And there's a lot of like monasteries and stuff. So it might be related to that. Maybe the people at the top were committing sins. I don't know. This climb is much more Nick. You may have seen, I've been waffling, but you may have seen from the profile there that it's like 1.5k, around 9.5%, but it has proper steep sections. It's, you know, an out the saddle kind of thing. 20% for a lot of it, really put your power down. At this point, I think I was maybe 70k into the ride, and obviously I had that 15 minutes above threshold, so I was fatigued for sure. And it's quite nice in a way when you're fatigued, I think, to have the opportunity to really push yourself. Empty the tank, see what you can squeeze out. This is a different kind of energy system, so maybe I'd have more than I expected. I don't know. My Garmin's got me racing a local chap called James. He's a very strong cyclist, so I know when it comes up that I'm racing him. I hope this sounds like respectful, but if I can beat him, then that's a real achievement, because he is strong. And you know, he goes for segments as well, so I don't feel so bad trying my best to go out and beat that time when it comes up on my Garmin. Quite a few parts, I tried to stay sitting down and really squeeze the power out seated. I'm even doing like 80 RPM up a lot of this climb, and again, those high hedges do like flattering me quite a lot, making it look like I'm moving fast whilst going quite uphill. And somehow, you know, I was in a pretty good place on this ride. Somehow I was this far in, and I was glancing over to my right, and you can see the Clwyds from an angle I've never seen them before. I've never done this climb, and you see them kind of end on. And I was just thinking, wow, this is beautiful actually. There's no way I can turn the camera to show you guys, and also the hedge would be in the way. It needs to be a bit higher. Maybe I'll figure that out one day, but I really enjoyed this because I just thought it was pretty, which, you know, when I'm also doing almost 400 watts, it's good that my brain's capable of assessing that. You turn this left-hander, and then the climb really bites again. I think it may get up to 20% up here, if my metrics aren't too offset. You can kind of see in the rear view, picture-in-picture, that that view of the Clwyds I was telling you, but not so well because of those high hedges. This is like back roads of back roads. No one comes along these roads apart from the farmers who need to use them for access, and maybe hikers. Like I say, there's B roads and there's back roads that would cut this off even quicker, so you almost have it to yourself. And just as I come up here is the area called Sodom Covert. And this nice little crossroads. And it felt weird. It felt like there should be something here. I don't know what. There's like a bench and stuff on the right. It felt like a village square or something, but there's no village. It was very surreal in a way. But but quite interesting. You can kind of see that in the rear view camera as well. So yeah, getting into 20% gradients again, really tough mentally to have to push yourself up through that. And I was starting to get that leg pain I mentioned last week, but again, I hope this doesn't make me sound like a knob, but seeing that I was currently ahead of James's time, but only just, spurred me on quite nicely. And something I hate about Strava is the thought of people doing that to me, so I feel quite bad that I'm saying it. I really struggle mentally with the idea that if I've done zone 3 up a hill, then people are out there going, oh, I'm smashing Nick up here. Maybe my fragile ego just can't take it, so yeah, hypocrisy, thy name is Brown Bill. But it was helping me go. There's my head getting into camera. Full head mode. Well, not full head mode, that's Peter. So I'd love to come and do this climb again. Nick YouTube bingo. On my good bike in summer and see what I can achieve. But the reality is, I've pushed myself pretty well to my limit here. So maybe on my good bike I'd have been able to knock some seconds off, you know. Maybe if I didn't have that big threshold effort in my legs already, I'd be able to knock some time off. But if the real target of this ride is just to come out, find a climb I've not done before and love it, then I've absolutely succeeded. I really was delighted to have a go at something so local that I didn't know. The only drawback, as you can see, is the absolutely crappy road surface.
Fuck off.
Oh, did you hear that? I'm clearly not quite in as good a mental place as I thought I was, because I couldn't get the navigation to stop on my Garmin. I hate the way it comes up over a climb. There's no solution to it that I can think of, but I just wanted it to leave me alone. I didn't need that navigation. All I really wanted to know was, is the climb going to end soon? Because there's these uppy downy bits. Okay, I've got speed going on them, but I just didn't have the fortitude to properly roll the power. So my Garmin said 609, Strava says 611, doesn't really matter. I did 350 watts for that time, which is, I mean, if we're being honest, brutally honest, it's like 40 watts down on what I should be doing for that duration. But all things considered, where it fell in the ride, etc., I don't mind that at all. I'd call that a success. Pretty good going. You can see that my power was pretty steady apart from the rolling bits at the top. And you can see that actually I'm quite happy with how the person who is KON on this, he did really well at getting speed on the steep bits, but on the rolly bit in the middle, I managed to gain time back on him. So it shows that the stuff I'm trying to focus on does help. It is getting somewhere, so I'm really happy with that. I really loved this ride and just enjoying being out on my bike and exploring again. I'm really enjoying these outdoor ones at the moment, so I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys, and here's a very silly ending for you. Thanks for watching.
It's Valentine's weekend and I was off to make sure I get plenty of quality time with the love of my life. I'm not being soppy about Rhiannon. I'm on my way to that cattle grid again. Oh yes!
Happy Valentine's Day.
Oh my